The issue begins in a S.H.I.E.L.D. underground bunker where an unidentified man seeks a meeting with acting S.H.I.E.L.D. director Maria Hill. Though all manner of security measures are taken, the man is still able to sneak in a small device to help convey his point. He begins by highlighting the sheer amount of new mutants arising across the globe. But it isn't the numbers that S.H.I.E.L.D. should fear, but rather the power levels, and the one man that can unite these powerful beings into a revolutionary force, Scott Summers. The general population's opinion on Scott is not as one-dimensional as S.H.I.E.L.D. believes. Scott's message of freedom at any cost has its supporters. And though Scott needs to be stopped, the man warns that S.H.I.E.L.D. must not make him a martyr. Instead, they must show the world, show his supporters, that Scott is a broken man, both physically and mentally. A state of being emphasized by Scott's broken, uncontrollable powers. To prove his point, he tells Maria of an incident in San Diego a few days ago. A new mutant manifested his powers, and of course Scott appears for this team of M. Frost, Magic, Magneto, and 2 new mutants. Christopher, a healer, and Tempest, a time manipulator. But during the recruiting process, Sentinels appear. The team fights them off to the best of their abilities, until Scott reluctantly is forced to use his own powers. With one blast, he takes out all the Sentinels and much of the surrounding area. The unidentified man calls it a lucky shot, explaining it could have been just as likely for Scott to have killed everyone in the area, mutants and humans included. But why should S.H.I.E.L.D. take this man seriously? What interest does he have in all of this? Well, Magneto is not one to be trifled with, and he has not forgiven Scott for the murder of his friend Charles Xavier, nor for Scott's role in the regression of his own powers. Be honest, did you see this betrayal coming?
Reading through the issue, I did not see that it was going to be Magneto at the end. I was really wondering the entire time who it was going to end up being. But in hindsight, it actually sort of does make sense that Magneto is now going to betray Scott. Because since AVX, I mean, Magneto lost quite a bit, and none of that has ever been addressed. So I guess it's finally time that it's come around. I mean, Xavier died, who was basically his best friend.
Yeah.
So.
And there's some resentment to be seen in All New X-Men, where Magneto kind of comes up to him and says, you got to own up to what you did.
Right.
And, you know, we all have lost our powers because of this. And so there was resentment established. And Bendis also writes that, so I'm sure that was intentional. And when I was actually reading this, and like you said, you didn't know who it was, what kept running through my head was, is this Xavier? Is he already back?
I thought the same thing, but I'm like, there's no way you can bring him back already. And I was trying to think of other potential possibilities. Mm-hmm. Like, even people like Sinister were running through my mind. I don't necessarily think this is going to work, though, because if Magneto is now going to be like the S.H.I.E.L.D. mole on the inside, I think everyone will just see him again as a traitor. And it'll make people like Scott even more and dislike Magneto even more. A lot of it goes into people's perceptions of Scott.
There's a lot of perception of Scott being evil. That's really Wolverine and X-Men, and there's a lot of, Uncanny Avengers. They really paint Scott to be evil, but apparently the whole populace of, the Marvel Universe, there's a lot of people that actually support Scott.
I kind of see him as almost like in our world, like Che Guevara, like the revolutionary who everybody likes, really for no logical reason, but the fact that he's a revolutionary.
Yeah, you see it in All New X-Men.
The Freedom Fighter.
Number 7, where young Scott goes into the bank and this girl is just going crazy. It's like, oh my god, it's Scott Summers.
Right.
And so there's definitely a lot of fanboys out there. Another possibility, the twist of Magneto being the one that's supposedly betraying Scott. What if Scott is the one that sent him there? What if this is a huge ploy?
Yeah, he's a double agent. And that actually definitely seems like a Scott Summers type of plan, where he's 2 steps ahead of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think that would be even more amazing because it wouldn't completely marginalize Magneto in the eyes of a lot of mutants.
Personally, I think that'd be a really cool storyline. I just don't think it'll happen now.
So let's discuss one of the main reasons I think Magneto is really turning, and that's because he's lost who he is, as he calls it, his powers.
I think that's only part of it. I think there's a lot of things motivating Magneto. Like I said, losing your best friend.
Okay, Xavier, he brings that up too.
So I don't think there's any one reason, but the powers definitely do play into it.
And it's interesting that the powers, the changes to them aren't uniform in that Magneto seems to be very hampered. They say that he would normally just crush these Sentinels very quickly, but now he's trying to do other things, while Scott's powers seem to be amplified. He can do these massive blasts, they're just not controlled.
Right.
That's the difference. And it seems like, Magneto got the shorter end of the stick on any aspect of this.
So he should be bitter.
He's got more reason to be bitter. And Emma Frost, I think, has even more reason to be bitter. She
isn't a telepath.
Yeah. with their powers severely hampered like this, obviously they can't really stack up to the old Extinction team, but the reinforcements they're getting, they do seem to be pretty powerful.
Right. They definitely seem to be getting, like, the powerhouses of the new crop of mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher and Eva, and they both seem incredibly powerful, almost maybe Omega level. Eva can bend time and space.
Yeah, Eva definitely. The other guy...
He's a healer.
He's a healer, but I'm not exactly sure how powerful of a healer is, because we haven't really seen him in action besides he sort of just walks up to Magneto or something
And heals
like that.
him, right.
And he doesn't have a code name yet.
Whereas Eva's going by Tempest.
Which I think is an awesome name,
That's
right?
pretty good considering like a lot of the good ones are already taken.
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about is Chris Bachalo's art. So he was actually the artist that...
For Wolverine and the X-Men.
Exactly, and I absolutely love his art style. It's very cartoony, but it has a lot of expression to it, and the characters really come across, and I absolutely adore it, and I think it's very good that they used him as the choice for the artist for this new series.
Personally, I still like Stuart Immonen a lot more on All New X-Men, but, I mean, Chris Bachalo's fine.
Yeah, you have great artists on these flagship X-Men titles, and that's great. I absolutely love it. As a grade for this first issue of Uncanny X-Men, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It was a very solid issue, and it was kind of cool to see Magneto develop as a character and now kind of become an adversary. So we'll have to see where it goes, though.
I'm a huge fan of Magneto. Hopefully this doesn't completely destroy his character within the entire mutant landscape. But I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5 just because of how excited I was.
So thanks for watching P3 Comics' review of Uncanny X-Men #1. Before we go, though, we got a question for you guys.
What do you think of Magneto as a mole for S.H.I.E.L.D. or a double agent for Scott?
Leave your answer below in the comments, and thanks for watching.